what it means for Tennessee is they can put this behind them. They can move forward both as a school and as a program. But I think this case has far-reaching implications for other athletic programs as well. Look, here's the tough part about the Tennessee case. This is not an FSU situation. It's not a Baylor situation where there were clearly inappropriate actions by individuals taken on discrete events. This is more about the issue of campus violence and the way we look at it. It's a very serious issue. It involves far more than athletic programs. It's more than recruit visits and lawyers and police phone calls. It's about fraternity lifestyle, alcohol consumption, campus jurisdiction, student adjudication, and due process. All of these are items that are pertinent to this discussion. That's why the Tennessee lawsuit was so tough. It was more than just about the sports. We want to ensure that our schools are safe and doing the right thing, but at the same time, a lot of the media frenzy and the hyperbole, we get lost with the substantive movement forward. And then when you add in the multi-million-dollar athletic programs and their coffers, then the substance gets lost even more. So you can expect to see more of this as we move forward. The complainants used both the two major clauses of Title IX, the before clause, which you mentioned, the deliberate indifference, creating a hostile sexual environment, and the after clause, talking about the adjudication process being unfair. So for Tennessee, it means that Tennessee can move forward both in the administration and on the playing field. But for other athletic programs out there, and there are 167 schools currently under a Title IX investigation by the Department of Education, not in a civil, not in a courtroom, but by the Department of Education, 167, 3 times what it was in May of 2014. What it means for other programs is that this is something that other programs need to look at and either rectify situations now to prevent that, or expect a lawsuit like this to come for that. So it has implications for Tennessee and for other major college athletic programs.
Mike, you kind of said, you started off with Tennessee could put this behind them now. Is that led to believe that this is over? Is there anything else out there that still can tie itself to Butch Jones or any of the other players that were involved with some of the allegations that we heard earlier this year?
No, David. It looks like Tennessee's going to be able to move forward on the field. There is still, looking at the university, there are still a couple of student adjudication processes underway. I don't believe any of them involve any student athletes or football players, student athletes on the football team or basketball team, which is what this one's centered around. I don't believe there are any members on the team currently under investigation. So it looks like from the administration, the school aspect, and the team program, it looks like they can move forward. They're pretty much in the clear. They made several policy changes that satisfied the complainants' lawyers. So it looks like this is going to be in the rearview mirror for Tennessee.
Mike, in your opinion, I mean, is there any, long-term effect when it comes to the perception of the school? Is this something that that could be used in negative recruiting? We hear a lot about that across the SEC and in college football. But is that something that you feel like is going to be used against Tennessee out there on the recruiting trail?
No, Chad. We haven't seen any indications that this hurt Tennessee on the recruiting trail. Like I said, there are 167 schools under investigation. Notre Dame's under investigation. Oregon's had their turn. FSU's had their turn. Colorado, Baylor. I could go down the list of those 167. Many of them are Division I big-time programs. So I don't think this is going to hurt Tennessee. When it looks into the facts of the case, we'll see that this is far more about the administration and other issues, other wide-ranging college issues that exist on many multiple college campuses. This is not just a Tennessee problem. It's a college problem. It's a problem of higher education that was looked at on the Tennessee campus. I don't think it's going to hurt recruiting, and we saw no indications this cycle that it hurt recruiting.
Yeah, and as you alluded to a certain extent, Mike, because of the 167 cases out there, even though they aren't civil suits, Tennessee's kind of taken the lead on this in a number of ways, and one way could be the policies and procedures that you pointed to earlier. So this might be a question that's jumping the gun to a certain extent since the settlement just came down today, but can you anticipate, or was there any rhetoric about what kind of policies and procedures are we talking about specifically that address preventing these kind of possible situations in happening?
Mark, I haven't went through the settlement line by line, but what we do know is that's going to be changed by this. What the school agreed to was there's going to be an outside advisory board set up to give Tennessee feedback on how they're meeting their Title IX requirements. No longer will the school direct athletes to a lawyer. There will be no more calls to the police or from the police to the coaching staff. That had changed before the lawsuit was published, however. The student adjudication process is going to change. This was a big point in the lawsuit. Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, the Tennessee system has a unique system amongst colleges in the nation when they do their student adjudication of cases like this. They actually allow a hearing officer to hear it, and they allow both parties to have a lawyer present. The complainants and the complainant's attorney hit this fact very hard. I did not know this before I read into the investigation, but most college campuses, when you do a student adjudication process on a matter like this, you are not entitled to representation in the student adjudication process. Tennessee did allow students, under the accused students and the complainants, to have legal representation in the student adjudication process. That was a big point for the complainants, the due process aspect for the accused. The settlement says that Tennessee will change their student adjudication process, and I believe that's what they're hinting at, which I take personal issue with. I'm not sure that's the way for us to go. And then additionally, the last policy that we know of today is there will be a litany of Title IX training for administrators and anybody who might be a first-line contact with someone who might be a victim.
Chad said it straight up before we came on, and I think we all share this thought that as long as justice is being served, that's the important thing. We're football fans. We love athletics, and it's in the rearview mirror now before Tennessee hits the field in 2016, and that's very important for those football players, for the football program, and it's good to see, regardless of who you root for. We don't want to see these kind of dark clouds hanging over a program like Tennessee. Again, as long as justice is being served, that's the most important thing. But beyond that, a lot of innocent people always affected in these situations, whether it mean directly or just on the periphery in regards to the vibe, the environment, and the pressure placed on the program. So Tennessee will be able to hit the field. This is in the rearview mirror for 2016.